then they actually will. So I think there's a lot of room for optimism right now, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Now, we got to go on break for about 3 minutes. When we come back, we want to talk about the report of a Mothman that was reported and investigated, as you were telling me, by a police department.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to go on break, people. So if you want to go get another cup of Java, or cocoa, go do it. And then I also have another question and a comment from R.W. Walls and from Karen Banks when we get back. So we'll be right back in 3.
Vete, vamos a hacer un contrato donde solo figure buen trato. Es puro sentimiento, con todo lo que digo no miento. Te quiero dejar en lo más alto y no me jato. Baby, te enseño a bailar lento, muy lento, bebé, toda la noche.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you. Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, thank you, John. Tonight we're talking to Tobias Wayland. We're talking about Mothman. We got a little bit into UFOs and aliens too, but he has a report that a report of a Mothman actually was reported to a law enforcement agency, and he's going to tell us about that. And plus, I'll take maybe one or two call-ins here, starting in about 10 minutes. And the number here to get a hold of us, I normally have another line, but one of my computers is down tonight, is 1-253-203-6681. 1-253-203-6681. And Tobias, are you still with us?
I sure am, Gary.
Now, this report to law enforcement, can you tell us what brought this on and what experience they had?
Yeah, definitely. So let me actually fill you in on a little bit of backstory here. So towards the end of February, we actually received a report from someone in Woodstock, Illinois, who saw what he described as a tall, hairy, humanoid being with leathery sort of bat-like wings. And so, again, actually, this is interesting if I can just digress briefly. So just like in that Indiana report, suddenly, we've got another report, and we'll see some of these details over and over again, where you've got this, dark brown or black hair, tall, humanoid being, large wings. And so anyway, this guy, and it's interesting, we were talking about this before, where people are just kind of out going about their business, right? And they'll encounter these seemingly impossible creatures. And that was this guy's literal experience. He had to run down to the drugstore for something real quick and was on his way home when he saw this thing. And it was a fairly quick sighting. The thing crossed the street in front of him, and he wasn't expecting to see it. So he was pretty shocked. And Emily, that's my wife and partner on in the Singular Freudian Society. We actually got down there and spoke to this witness, and he took us out to the sighting area, and we got to document everything. And so this was the first of the recent sightings in Woodstock, Illinois. And so it wasn't too long after that sighting, actually. And there have been, and if we have time, I'll get more into these other ones, but there have been other weird reports from that area of related or at least potentially related phenomena. But one of the most interesting ones was I was contacted, after we published that article, I was contacted on February 28th from a gentleman who said that he was outside the Jewel Osco. So that's a drugstore chain, I think. I mean, we don't really have those up here, but I've been to Illinois enough where, if memory serves, that is a drugstore chain. And so he's standing outside of the Jewel Osco, and this was across the way from the McHenry County Fairgrounds. So I guess they are just sort of right next to each other. And what's really interesting is the previous sighting that I just referenced. If you trace the path of the creature from that sighting, it almost certainly, now if it would have continued traveling in a straight line across the road from where that guy saw it, it would have ended up, going right through this fairground. So 6 days after the first sighting, we have a guy hanging out outside of this Jewel Osco. And it's right across from the county fairground there. And so he got a hold of us and said that he had seen this thing. He said that it was it was tall, it was big, and it was all black. It had these bright green eyes, and it had these huge leathery wings. And he said that it was probably about 30 feet from the fence that separates this parking lot from the fairground. And he said that it was about 30 feet away, and that it charged the fence before turning around and running off back towards the woods there, because there's some woods by the fairground. And that's a wild story, obviously. And so he had actually said also as part of that, and this is what really got my attention, because contrary to everything we've been talking about up until now, this guy actually called the police, which, kind of blew my mind. And I was ecstatic to hear that, of course, but it doesn't happen very often. And so he said that he had called the police. He actually called the Woodstock Police Department first, and they had actually routed it to the McHenry County Sheriff's Department, because technically the fairgrounds are county property, and so it falls under the sheriff's jurisdiction. And it's all well and good to say, that you've called the police, because I've heard plenty of times before from people, I called the police, or I did this, or I did that, and you never get it. You can never get a hold of any of the police reports, and there's no official record of it. But this time, I submitted a FOIA request to the McHenry County Sheriff's Department, and, hand to God, they got back to me, and they said that they hadn't written a official report for this incident, but they had the 911 record, so they gave me that report. And I mean, it's exactly what he said. The responding officer, showed up at this parking lot to talk to this guy. It was, let's see, I'm looking at this report right now, and anybody who's interested, I'm going to get this article written, and I'll have this report available for anybody who wants to see it. I'm planning on publishing that this Sunday. I am going to redact certain private information. Nobody needs to know this guy's name or anything. But yeah, otherwise this will be freely available to anybody who wants to look at it.
You want to
anyway, look. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Do you want to give out your web address where they can find you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you can find us at singularfortean.com. We're also all over social media. So you can find the Singular Fortean Society on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, just everywhere you're on social media. And so looking at this report right now, which actually, by the way, this is a breaking story. This is absolutely an exclusive, because I literally got this today. I haven't even had time to do anything with it yet. But looking at it right now, I can see that it happened when he said it did. The responding officer showed up, and it was almost 3 a.m. And if you look down at the bottom of this report that I'm looking at right now, you can see in their comments that they even say, so the witness, again, whose name I'm not going to give out, because that's not anything anybody needs to know, and frankly, I don't have his permission to give it out, so ethically, I don't feel right about it. So it says that the witness had a sighting of a mysterious creature described as being 7 to 8 feet tall and wearing all black. The witness said the creature charged at him from the fairgrounds, screeching at him while he was in the jewel lot, and then it retreated. The witness named the creature the Dewfield Pond Swamp Monster, since he had the first sighting with police involvement. Investigation to continue. And so presumably that investigation didn't turn anything up, because the sheriff's deputy that responded to this didn't make an official report out of it. And so there's some interesting stuff going on here. This police report matches the initial report that this witness sent me. And if this witness was making this up, I don't see why. It's easy enough to prank, just a lone investigator and submit a report or something just to see if you can get your story on the internet. But when you call the police, they're going to take that seriously, and the police